Good evening, Buffaloes fans, and welcome to another edition of the Buffaloes podcast. We're back after having a week off, sorting out some things, the way it goes sometimes. I hope you are all doing well on this Thursday night. I'm your host, of course, Graham, the G Show Forsyth. Happy to be here. Show is brought to you by Mid-Canton Fasteners and Tools. Of course, store locations in Brandon and Winnipeg. Be sure to visit them if you're interested in buying some new tools. They got loads of great options. Be sure to visit their website at midcantonfasteners.shop to check out those options before going to a store to make a decision. One of those two store locations. Also brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years. Be sure to visit their website at terrico.ca to learn more about their products. And we're also brought to you by Goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review service. One of the guests in today's episode, he is the owner of this brand, and Gordie Tumilson. Be sure to visit their website for more information at GordieTumilsonGoalies.ca to learn more about what Goaltenders is, which is essentially a one-on-one Zoom service. That's a goaltending coaching type of service, which is pretty cool, as I always say. But yeah, you'll notice in all of the interviews for tonight's episode, they're all pre-recorded, of course. I was not wearing a poppy. I forgot to. Silly me. But yeah, it is Remembrance Day in 2 days, a very important day. I hope that everyone, takes the time to honor and salute no matter where you are, whether if you're watching on TV or actually going to a service, because a time like this means a lot, and a time like this to wear this is a sign of respect for those who fought to give us freedom in this country here in Canada. But just wanted to say that haven't had a chance to catch up with what Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy has been doing in a while, and it's cool because Halloween, it just passed. It was last week, which is crazy how this year flies by, but they had a chance to dress up, have a Halloween night, players wearing some very cool costumes. From a flamingo right here, not sure what the girl in black is wearing. Maybe she's a witch of some sort, but yeah, they had a chance to play some Pong, as well as do some other stuff, converse with each other, and have some great times. And Pilot Mountain also put a video together, which is pretty cool. Have a listen. And yeah, they had a chance to wrap each other up, decorate the place with some toilet paper, wrapping each other up with toilet paper, that is. And yeah, cool to see all the costumes that were on display there. Saw a Luka Doncic jersey, some people in jackets, some other cool costumes there. So yeah, someone even dressed as a minion, as we saw. Pretty cool stuff. Great to see that small town Pilot Mountain, this great hockey academy, getting into the spirits of things in their brand new dorms for this season, which is pretty awesome. Speaking of Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy, their players, I had a chance to catch up with two U15 players in Maddox Ramage and Cole Landerman. If we take a look at the standings in the U15 division right now, the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy not with the greatest record, but improving as this season goes along. They just beat the Notre Dame Hounds. They've had a ton of success against them this season, and I had a chance to ask Cole and Maddox about their time in Pilot Mountain so far in their rookie year this year, what it's been like going up against the competition this past weekend, the confidence it's going to give this U15 team moving forward, and more coming up next on this edition of the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy podcast, the Buffaloes podcast, brought to you by McCann Fasteners and Tools, Terrico, as well as goaltenders. Sit back, folks. It's going to be a long but good one. Starting off with Maddox Ramage and Cole Landerman as the guests, or Cole Landerville as the guests. And it's Maddox Ramage and Cole Landerville joining this edition of the Buffaloes podcast. Fellas, how are you doing coming off of a win against the Notre Dame Hounds? I saw how things have been in Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy.
They've been fun. It's been a lot of fun, and just the win yesterday helped the team out confidence-wise and getting back to it.
Yeah, it feels really good to get that win there at the end of the weekend. And yeah, it feels good getting back on the rhythm.
Yeah, it came against a team where you boys have had a lot of success against them, the Notre Dame Hounds, beating them 5-4, making it 2 regular season wins against them. Now, you boys talked about how it was huge for the confidence. In what ways would you say that this game is going to really help boost you boys forward in terms of getting better as a team?
Yeah, I mean, really gets like the confidence like way up there and just gets the boys like all pumped up, ready to go for the next one, and just fired up for that to get that win there.
Yeah, like the team morale goes up after a win like that, especially losing and especially to a team that we thought we could beat and we had a chance of beating and we lost. So team morale wasn't the highest, and then after that when it got back up and everybody's ready to go and lively now.
We'll get back into the team aspect of things in just a little while here. Both of you boys are rookies coming into this season. Maddox, you're from Pilot Mountain, Manitoba, which I think is pretty cool. You get to play where you're from. Cole, you're from St. Cloud, Manitoba. Talk about how it came to be for both of you two to, make that move and transition to play at Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy.
Yeah, I mean, it was good playing in Rock Lake. Bunch of my friends. But it's also tough having to go away from them for a while. But yeah, I like it here, and looking forward to the upcoming season.
Yeah, so for me, I was like an hour away. So last year I came and watched a little bit of their games, and I really wanted to play for them. And my parents weren't too sure if they wanted me to come yet. And by the end of the year, I was pretty asking every day, basically, and they finally let me come. So it's good, having fun.
Yeah, great that you had a chance to come out and watch some of the action at Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy. What stood out, though, in particular, in terms of why exactly you wanted to come to Pilot Mountain? Was it just seeing the level of play, seeing the facilities? What exactly was it, Cole?
Oh, when I came, like they were versing, I think it was Prairie, and the level of compete was really high. Everybody's out there going, giving their 110%, and it's really good development wise. Like you're on the ice every day, you're working out in the morning every day. And yeah, just to get myself better here, I thought here would be the best chance where I could improve my skills and have a good year.
Yeah, and you're doing really well so far individually, 39 points in 31 games played, tied for second on the team in points. For you, Maddox, being from Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy, you speaking about the, you know, playing at Rock Lake, traveling, all that type of stuff, kind of impacted your experience there. But being able to stay home in Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy and getting to experience the community in a different way, playing hockey and meeting all these new faces, what's the experience truly been for you so far throughout these past few months?
Yeah, well, obviously before I came here, I was always watching the academy whenever they were in town. So it's really good that feels special that I get to play with the team that I've always wanted to play with since I was little, since I was been watching them. So yeah, it's really great to finally like be on the team.
Is the experience of what you imagined, kind of different with you actually being able to wear your home city colors and all that great stuff?
Oh yeah, it's been fun, especially on those road trips with the boys. It's all the way. Those 5-hour road trips, they've been good. And it feels good to wear that home jersey on home ice with all the fans that you've known since you were little. So
Yeah, and you boys have been able to play some home games this season, but quite a bit of travel. 31 games played in total so far. What's that been like transitioning and getting used to what the hockey academy lifestyle brings of not only playing games, but keeping up with academics as well?
Yeah, so on the bus, like if you are not good like sleeping on the bus, you're gonna have a tough time coming here because you gotta get a lot of sleep on the bus, and especially if you're not good at working while others are talking on the bus, sometimes you gotta work on the bus, and it's a challenge, but you gotta get your work done in the end. So, and then we have study hall too at hotels, so that helps us out too with schoolwork.
Right.
yeah, and, having to bring your computer on the bus and do all that online work. Can't really do any like papers on the bus, so that's why study hall is really good at hotels and stuff. And yeah, it's just got to get your work done. So
Yeah, and seeing the pictures on social media, it's great that you boys are staying committed along with everyone else that's have to go through the same thing in the Pilot Mount Hockey Academy this season. But a lot of hockey to start off the year. What's that adjustment been like in terms of getting used to playing so many games in such a short amount of time in 2 months?
Yeah, so you gotta prepare yourself kind of the night before, like have everything packed. Let's say you're leaving the next day, the week before, you gotta get your laundry done on time, and it's different because last year you only played on weekends usually, so your body wasn't really prepared to play that many games back to back to back. But once you get in the rhythm, it's hard to get out of it.
yeah, it's good, but sometimes it's always a rush. Like getting back Wednesday, leaving Thursday. I think we had to do that once this year. It was a rush, but it feels good to get a break. Like this weekend, get a break and from all the traveling. So yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, and obviously there might be some work that goes into it, like practice is still right in terms of the video, but not the same amount of work being put into it this upcoming week, at least in terms of playing games. What are you two boys, Maddox? You can answer this first, and then Cole. But what are you two going to be doing to prepare for the upcoming games, which are coming next weekend for this free week that you got opened up?
Oh, I mean, just staying home, getting myself prepared. Those practices and workouts, really working hard in the gym for the upcoming games because nothing to leave it out for. And then, yeah, I think just like relaxing, getting my body ready. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, like we have a whole week of practice and nothing on the weekend, so just giving her at every practice, putting in my best in the gym, trying to do my best, lift as much weight as I can, and yeah. And then I'm going home this weekend, so kind of take it easy on the weekend and be ready to go by next week.
Oh, right on. Great that you'll be able to go out and see some family this weekend on the off weekend. And yeah, I mean, for this season so far, this Pilot Mountain team has struggled in CSSHL regular season play, 3-8 so far. Speak about what it's been like, though, going up against the level of play. This is a team that sure has lost 8 games so far, but it's been close in almost every single one of them. But tough competitors out there that this academy team has faced. Could you speak about what that level of talent has been like going out and playing against them?
Yeah, every team, you can't take them lightly. Every team has different skilled players, and every team wants to win out there. So every team's giving it their best, and you want to win too. So you got to be ready and mentally prepared to go out there. And every team you're playing against can beat any team in this league. If any team has a bad game, other teams can capitalize. So you got to really be ready to go out there because other teams can capitalize in a flick of a switch.
Yeah, like what he said, there's a lot of very good players out there that are on very good teams, and you just gotta kind of get yourselves mentally prepared for those big teams that you're playing against, and like ready to compete with their skill. And yeah,
Yeah, and you boys, even though you've lost 8 games, have done a good job of staying in games. A lot of 1 goal, 2 goal losses in there. Sure, there have been some blowouts to a rink and not to a rink, to a team in the Rink Hockey Academy, Winnipeg team. But where would you say that this team, has maybe fallen short in those games where you've been close but quite haven't been able to come through with the W's?
Yeah, I mean, we sometimes start off slow or finish off slow. Like we'll get down quick, but then we end up catching up, and then it's not enough in the end for us to pull out the W. So I think just get started early, pressure them quick.
Yeah, that one game against Prairie, I think we got down pretty quick to them, and that hurt us in the end because it was only a 1 goal game to finish off. But it's tough, like starting off from behind every period. So that's one thing I think we gotta just get off to better starts, and I think we'll keep getting improving each game.
Know where you need to get better, improving, playing a full, more consistent 60 minutes of play. But knowing that even when this team isn't playing a complete game, they can stick and play with teams like Prairie Hockey Academy and the loads of talent that is in this league. Does that give you boys as a group a lot of confidence, knowing that with the more work you could put in, better results can be achieved?
Yeah, we all know as a group that the more work we put in, the results will keep getting better throughout the year. And every game we got to give it our all. Like I said earlier, because every team out there can compete. So it always comes down to how much you want it. And our team is confident with ourselves going into each game that we can beat any team if we play good.
Yeah, like he said, I think we just need to get more mentally prepared before the games and ready to go out there and give it our all. And I think we just need to get ready to compete and play at the level.
Yeah, and lots of time ahead this season to be able to go out and prove what type of team this is, because there is quite a bit of talent on this year's U15 team from just looking at the statistics. Cole, you're one of those players making a lot of noise. 39 points in 31 games as mentioned, tied second on the team in points. For you, Maddox, 10 points, 5 goals, 5 assists in 30 games played. Doesn't matter who starts off with answering this one, but could you describe what type of players you boys are that makes you bring the type of impact that you do on the ice?
Yeah. So for me, I think I'm a skilled player. Like I like to pass the puck and move it, get quick plays going up the ice, rush with speed. But I also like to take my time in the zone. If I don't have a play, I like to curl back and re-enter the zone with speed. And yeah, I like playmaking a lot. I can vary sometimes, but I'm more of a playmaker. That's more of my skill is like sauce passes and stuff like that. And yeah, I like playing in the D zone too. I like being on the PK, helping out, and yeah, good sticks in the D zone.
Yeah, I think I'm more of the forechecker type of guy. Getting in there, getting dirty, getting pucks loose in the front of the net, and yeah, also like being on the PK, getting pucks out of the zone and defending our net.
Yeah, right on, right on. So a good role player in Maddox Ramage and a good all-around skilled player and Cole Landerville, two players that are going to be huge parts of what Pilot Mountain can do down the stretch here, I'd say. But I had a chance to talk to Colin Fafara, your guys' head coach, back in episode 2, and he said that the struggles that this team might have been facing early on in the season was just, you have to take some time to continue to gel some more. So, this point in the season, what would you say the level of chemistry is like in the room amongst the team?
But yeah, there's every line's buzzing now. Like a lot of lines have chemistry, and we know where each other are on the ice. Like don't need to call for passes. Sometimes we just know where we are. Like my line between Nosy and Forrest, we just know where each other are now. We've been playing together for a while, so
Right on.
Yeah, I feel like my line with me, Chase and Sam, we really know where we are on the ice, just like he said. And I feel like we're really starting to gel once we've been around each other more, and all those games together have really made us getting closer. Yeah.
Well, that chemistry is going to be put to the test coming up in the next few games next weekend. Not this weekend coming up, but the next one. Playing against the Rink Hockey Academy Winnipeg, and then going up against teams in Medicine Hat, Alberta, and SEAC Tigers, the Prince Albert Pirates. So a weekend off, a busy weekend to come afterwards. Talk about what the mindset is going to be going up against those, skilled teams like the Rink Hockey Academy, Winnipeg, and the other ones.
Yeah, like the Rink Hockey Academy, they have a lot of very good players, really skilled players. I think we need to learn just how to shut them down and not let them get cut to the middle of the ice and do all their fancy moves. And I think we just need to score on our chances and bury the puck.
Yeah, like he said, kind of, but there are a lot of skilled players and fast and quick, and we just got to match the speed in the neutral zone and stick with them throughout. And our mindset can't be like anything like it has to be good going into the game and positive. And going against those other teams in Med Hat, just going out there blazing. Don't let up anything off the rush early in the game, especially. And yeah, just going out there, giving it our all, and seeing what they got.
Well, you boys enjoy the weekend off before that busy weekend, which we just talked about, comes. Best of luck against the Rink Hockey Academy Winnipeg team and all the other teams coming your way, and hoping to see that record improve in the CSSHL and overall for this U15 Buffaloes team. Cole Landerville, Maddox Ramage, two forwards, rookies on the U15 prep male Buffaloes team, Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy. Joining this edition of the Buffaloes podcast, Cole and Maddox. Thanks for taking the time, you boys. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good one.
And Maddox Ramage and Cole Landerville joining this edition of the Buffaloes podcast, brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, Terrico, and goaltenders. Speaking of goaltenders, the owner of that company is going to be up next, as Gordy Tummelson will be the next guest to join this edition of the show. But yeah, as for the Buffaloes U15 team, they will be taking a little break, much needed, I'd say, with the amount of hockey that they've been playing, but not much of a break, as they'll be back in action on November 15th, playing 4 games in 3 days. So quick rest for this U15 Buffaloes team, and then they're right back at it in about 6 days time at this point. But yeah, taking a look at the statistics once again of the U15s, just to let you know who's leading their team in points. It is Forrest Carlson with 43 points in 31 games. Right behind him, as mentioned, is Cole Landerville, tied for second on the team with 39 points, along with Gavin Noseworthy. Landerville actually leads the U15 Buffaloes in assists in the total games played, with 28 in the 31 games played. And for Maddox Ramage, of course, not as many points, but still being productive on the score sheet. 10 points, 5 goals, 5 assists in 30 games played so far. And yeah, I brought up Gordy Tummelson and want to bring him on the show next. It was a long chat me and Gordy had, but a good one about the past week/weekend of games for all 4 teams in the academy, as well as what's to come here on this edition of the Buffaloes podcast for episode 7, brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, Terrico, and goaltenders. Gordy Tummelson, goalie coach, marketing director, and recruitment guy as well of Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy. Coming up next, everybody. And joining me from his car is Gordy Tummelson on this Wednesday night, a night before the Buffaloes podcast airs for another episode. Gordy, you told me you're currently outside Allard Arena waiting to watch a hockey game. Which game specifically is that, and how are you doing, good man?
This is a game between the Rockets and the Penguins, A1, little girls, but there's a couple of kids here that are burgeoning stars. And so I want to kind of keep my eye on them a little bit just to make sure that we don't miss them out at Pilot Mountain down the road, a year or two down the road. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, young age level, and with your expertise, Gordy, hopefully you as well as the rest of the team could potentially, maybe down the line, revisit some of these kids, take some names down tonight potentially. But we're here to talk about the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy Buffaloes, talking about the The U15 prep males had a chance to speak to Maddox Ramage and Cole Landerville in this episode, and they were coming off of a 5-4 win to end off their weekend against the Notre Dame Hounds. Ended up losing the first two games of the weekend, but finishing strong, almost blowing it, but holding on. Huge first period filled with 4 goals to really give them the biggest advantage in that game. Talk about their weekend overall, though, Gordy, for the U15s.
Oh, it's a good weekend. I mean, again, they're all learning experiences. They've beaten the Hounds 3 times, and I guess that's probably indicative of what's gone on, but for them. But I think ultimately goalie Gavin Hildebrand sort of hung in there with them and helped them get through that last 2 periods. It was one-sided in the first period for the Buffaloes, and then one-sided for the most part for Notre Dame. But we came away with a 1-goal win, and that was fun. And the whole weekend was good. The kids played pretty well. They're short a couple of guys. They had an injury. Got a guy with a broken collarbone. So, they're playing with a forward playing defense and a couple of small guys. And that's really hard on those kids. It's their first year, sort of in big time hockey, and all of a sudden they're playing defense when they're really a forward. But they volunteered, and they went out there and they did the best they could, and we got a win and we had a loss, and that was okay.
Who was that? Who ended up going up, Gordy?
Back was Lily and number 22, I think Ryder Lilly.
Right.
Yeah, he played defense, and little Mr. Helly, number 26. He's a small guy. He plays defense. I really think he's a forward, but because he has a lot of good hockey sense moving the puck up, but he's a small guy, and those big powerful forwards from some of these teams, they just overpower these two little wee guys. And Lily is he's like an ant on the ice. The fact that he can skate like a wizard is just one thing that keeps him alive out there, because otherwise they'd trap him in the corner and just beat up on him. But they do pretty good, those little guys. They learn to figure it out somehow and do the best they can.
Hey, Gordy, I was a little guy, only 5'6". And I love the little guys when they have success. Helly with a 1 assist game in the win against Notre Dame. As long as you can use what you got to your advantage, whether it's your shiftiness or your toughness in the corners, I think that the little guys can also go out there and show some skill as well.
Yeah.
But Forrest Carlson, Cole Landerville, and Gavin Noseworthy, all with huge games. Those 3 really highlighting this year's U15 Buffaloes, Gordy.
Yeah, those 3 guys that's quite a line. And the little guy, Landerville, is, he's 13. He's not even 14 yet. So, and he's excited about being there and playing with these 2 big stud wingers or players on his line. So it's really neat to watch those 3 guys. And they're very creative. They're fast. They move the puck well. They're all skilled guys. So it's a fun line to watch. We wish we had another one quite, as that good. Some of the other guys are getting better at it. But those 3 guys together are kind of our power line, and we rely on their points a lot as we go through the season.
Yeah, and all 3 of them have been very consistent as the top players for this U15 Buffaloes team. The U15s don't play again until the 15th, Gordy, where they'll play against the Rink Hockey Academy. So a team that's played a lot of hockey in a short amount of time. How key is it for them to be able to get a little weekend off here?
This hockey team needed a rest a month ago, and they've just been plowing ahead. If they get 1 or 2 practices a week, that's been about the max, and normally you get 3 or 4. So they've been struggling in terms of some of their play just because they haven't been able to practice. But those little guys, they wear it well. They go out there and they're wearing the Buffalo proud and going hard all the time. But yeah, most of them are going home somewhere if they can get there, within a reasonable amount of time. In fact, one of our goalkeepers, Mikey Kolibaba, is going to Peace River, Alberta, and that's not close. That's an 18-hour drive. He's flying home to Edmonton and then picking him up. He's got 4 hours extra drive after that. So, but anyway, they're all going home and for the most part, and then they get a little bit of a rest. The coaches need a rest. The whole group needs a rest, and so this will be a good thing for them. But it's about time.
Well, the U15s will be back in action on November 15th, coming up against the Rink Hockey Academy at
Yep.
7 p.m. in Pilot Mountains. So for the U17s, Gordy, they opened up with 2 wins this weekend. Ended up losing the last 2 games of the weekend, but a weekend with some ups and downs for this U17 team. Talk about how their weekend went at the Edge School in Calgary, Alberta.
Sure. Well, the weekend was exactly almost how you said it. They had a couple wins and a couple losses. The losses were close. Kyle Bielman was really good in the game in the last game against Nax. Yeah, I think he stopped 3 breakaways in the first 5 minutes, and and so our guys were maybe a little bit not ill prepared at the start of the game, which seems to be the case for most of our teams. It becomes a surprise to me. I'm going to have to talk to the coaches to see what we're not doing, getting them ready before to come on the ice and be prepared to play. And I know the coaches try. It's not like they haven't made an effort at that, but it's just I don't understand why you need to have 5 minutes into the game before you realize the other team's on the ice with you and they're trying to score and you're not doing much about it. So anyway, the kids played well. They had 2 really good games, and then they had and 2 okay games. Our goalies played really well. We're thrilled with the goaltending on that particular team, and most of our teams, but certainly those 2 guys, Pete Moreau and Kyle Bielman, have been super. So, yeah, no, it was a good weekend, and they're looking forward to the 2 games this weekend, kind of an easier schedule for them into Winnipeg, and then a home game in Winnipeg. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, and just taking a look at the stats, it seems like the weekend started off stronger for them than maybe they finished in terms of giving up the shots. Starting off with only giving up 28 shots in that first game in that win against OHA, to giving up the 35 in that loss against the Northern Alberta Extreme. But the one positive I found was the amount of scoring going around, a different goal scorers scoring in the first 2 wins for this Buffaloes team, and then different goal scorers in the losses scoring too. So how huge is that moving down the line if this team can start to get better to have that much depth and that much scoring by committee?
Yeah, the scoring by committee is a good thing. Everybody would like to have. Well, we do. We have Carson Carrolls and Benson Hurst, but scoring a lot of points for us. But I don't think Carson wasn't in the lineup on the weekend again. But at the end of the day, we need more people scoring goals. We'd love to have a couple other studs going out there and putting more pucks in the net. We just don't have that on the forward line in particular. So, they're working really hard. They're all battling to get pucks and get assists and get shots in the goal and make plays. They're learning how to score goals a little bit here and there. Zane Price has been really good for us as a forward. So they're getting it. I mean, but we just don't have a lot of natural goal scoring talent. So, you fight for every inch, and you get rewarded sometimes with a goal and assist here and there.
Well, maybe the website made a mistake, Gordy, but it says Carson Carrolls ended up having a goal in that OHA Edmonton game.
Okay, he did play in that game. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Was in the lineup for the Buffaloes this weekend, but for this team, they're right back at it tomorrow at the Rink Training Center to play Rink Sports Academy Winnipeg. Then back home on Saturday, Remembrance Day, to take on the Winnipeg High School Elite team. Only 2 games of this upcoming weekend for the U17s. How huge are these ones coming up, going against what seem to be 2 pretty decent teams?
Yeah, well, the rink game is going to be obviously that's a league game, so that's important as there's points involved there, and we like to win. We like to win those, and we're competitive against that team. They're better than we are, but we can be competitive, and if we get some really good goaltending, that the game can go either way. The Winnipeg High School team is a good bunch of kids that come out and play us 2 or 3 times during the year. They help fill a void for us, and we certainly help them realize what kind of good hockey is being played at the academy level. And hopefully some of those kids will take a look at academy hockey if that happens to be something they might be looking for down the road. So yeah, they're good. They're good games. They keep us in shape and give the kids a different look, in particular with the Winnipeg Elite team.
Yeah, and for this Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy team, they are pretty good so far this year in CSSHL play. Taking a look at their statistics, so we just take a moment here. They are 7-1-0-2 so far in CSSHL play, for 43 goals for, 26 goals against, and another two big games coming up for this weekend. For the U18 prep male team, Gordy, this is a team that ended up playing only one game in the past weekend over against the Rink Hockey Academy Winnipeg team. They also played against the Calgary International Hockey Team on October 29th and the OHA Edmonton team on October 28th, all resulting in blowout losses. Bring me up to the story, what went down with these past games with these three big losses with the 18 squad.
Well, the three big losses, we get to play against the three powerhouse teams in the league, and these are the teams that get fed by both the junior organizations, junior A organizations, and the WHL organizations, because they're sort of in the mainstream areas of hockey in Alberta, and that really Alberta and BC, and that really puts a damper on a lot of games, because they're just getting fed players that are drafted, that are moving on, and we just don't get those kinds of players. We've got we don't have anybody in that of that ilk, in on our Buffaloes team, and so we it looks like that when we play those games. But you know what? The not every one of those kids on those good teams is going to play pro hockey and make it, and maybe a couple of kids from our team, even though they're not that great right now, will make it because they'll persevere somehow, and they'll go through the minors and pro hockey and make it. So one never knows about the future. So we play the games, we work hard, the kids develop, and that's what we're there for. It's a development program and so each kid gets a chance to get better and maybe go to university or college hockey or junior A. So that's what we're working for, and so the blowouts, they're not pretty. We don't like them, but those happen, and they happen for a reason. Talent, and that is 100% the reason. Not effort, not desire, but talent.
Yeah, for sure. And these three teams they played, Okanagan Hockey Academy is seventh. They have 0 losses so far. They're 5-0, 34 goals for, 6 goals against. Rink Hockey Academy Winnipeg, pretty darn good as well. Only 1 loss, 35 goals for, 10 goals against. And Calgary International Hockey Academy, only 2 losses in 5 games, but 22 goals for, 12 goals against a Buffaloes team that is 1-6, 10 goals for, 56 goals against. But like you said, Gordy, a bit of a talent gap there that hey, it's just what are you going to do at the end of the day? At this point, better things ahead for this U18 Buffaloes team, hopefully, as they will be taking on the Orland Park Vikings tomorrow in Hookset. Not sure what NH stands for, Gordy. You'll fill me in on that. My apologies. But a 3-game weekend for them, or a 4-game weekend for them coming up before having a long break, not playing until December 1st until that point.
NH is New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
So the boys they took the bus this morning to Minneapolis, and then they're flying out of Minneapolis to Boston, and then they'll bus to Boston to New Hampshire, and they'll play 4 games in 3 days there, and then they'll do the same thing fly back to Minnie, and then bus back home on Monday. So it's a big trip for them. They're playing in the NAPHL, the North American Prep Hockey League. And our team last year, this particular team, had some success in the NAPHL. I think we were about 500, over the course of 2 tournaments, one in Texas and one in Michigan. And hopefully we'll have the same kind of success on the East Coast. East Coast teams will probably be a little better than the ones in Texas, but we don't know that. So it'll be all fresh and new. and we're looking forward to some different competition, and our kids getting an experience they wouldn't get anywhere else in hockey at their age and at their level, and give the other teams a look at what they might want to consider down the road as our prep team will show off their colors and their skating and playing ability. So yeah, it'll be a fun weekend, different, and there'll be lots of scouts and lots of people watching those games and looking at folks. So hopefully some of the kids will attract some attention.
One last question about the U18 male team here, Gordy. Like you said, having success in the NAPHL tournament last year. How huge is this tournament in particular at this moment in terms of how the season may be able to go if players are able to break out besides Calix Monkman and Austin Polanski? Because those two guys, Monkman, only player on the team that's over a point per game, Polanowski, that's my apologies there again. That's how you pronounce his name. 12 points in 15 games played. But then the next best is Tyrell Leask after that, and with 4 points in 9 games played. I mean, points aren't everything, but could be a huge weekend potentially, don't you think, for them having success in tournaments like this last year for other players to get going to really set the tone for the rest of the season?
Yeah, we're hoping so. That Graham, that's the and that's why we play in those that particularly to get a kind of a sense for where the kids fit and whatnot. And we've even talked about maybe playing down there more often, just because the competition is a little bit closer to our level. And but however, we're a Canadian team wanting to play in the CSSHL, and better recruitment program. It's in place. We're working hard on that right now. This is only a second year team in the CSSHL, so we're and it's right. It's a top end of the friggin' program in terms of age, and so it's really hard on these guys. For us to find players, they're looking, because they're going to junior next year. They're all looking for the best team they can play on to get as many points as they can get, and so they don't come to us that easily. So we're having to sell differently, work a little bit harder, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. And so yeah, but yeah, let's hope our guys are able to pick up some points and get more confidence, get a little more team offense going, and get a little bit better defensively at the same time. So yeah, it'll be a fun weekend for them. One way or the other, it's going to be a good time.
Well, best of luck to the U18 Buffaloes, the male team that is, in Hooksett, New Hampshire this weekend, with their 4 games starting off with the Orland Park Vikings tomorrow at 3:10 p.m. Gordy, one last team to talk about, and that's the U18 female team, and they ended up only having, well, about 3 games that's in this past week. 3-2 loss to Delta Hockey Academy Black, 16-0 loss to Delta Hockey Academy Green, and a closer game to finish things off, bouncing back nicely. 3-2 loss to St. Mary's Hockey Academy. Obviously, Delta teams always filled with a ton of skill. St. Mary's Academy always brings a pretty good team as well. Talk about this past weekend for this Buffaloes team that had 2 close games and that one blowout, obviously 16-0.
Yeah, well, Delta Green kicks the poop out of literally everybody, including the Delta Black. So no one wants to play them. It's like playing Team Canada. Why are we doing this? They're crazy. They're that good. They're monsters. And so we won't talk about that. That's a good game. And I'll give Alex Mills, our goalkeeper, all kinds of credit. She stayed in there the whole game. Typically goalies come out after a while. She said, "Nah, I'll finish this thing. Brooke's going to play tomorrow, and she needs the rest." So Alex took care of business and battled right through to from start to finish. And she made 60 or 70 saves, and it could have been 1,000 more, I suppose, if they wanted to shot more. But yeah, she worked really hard, and the team worked hard too. We're just not as good. The 3-2 losses, we can get a goal score. We can get 3 goals, we can tie every game. I think we've got about 6 3-2 losses this year. So we're trying to get the 3rd goal. If we get the 3rd goal, we're going to be really competitive. But yeah, the kids are working hard. They got their chins up. I should tell you, they were in Bemidji this past weekend. I don't know if you were going to mention that, but they took a tour down to Bemidji State, and to watch the game down there, and got to go to the dressing room, got to see what a Division One team looks like, what their facilities look like. Our kids were thoroughly impressed, and we've got great facilities and a great setup for our teams. And of course, Bemidji's been there forever, and it's world class. And our guys, and the neat part about this, and I want all the people to listen to this, whoever listening to this podcast. The first thing out of the mouth of the people that run the Bemidji program is, what do you look for in a player? We look for good human beings. That's the term. If you're a good human being, you got a chance to make a Division One team. If you're not, they don't want you. So if you're going to be a monster person, if you're going to be those kind of people that doesn't get along, that et cetera, well, you're not going to play anywhere, because that'd be boys or girls, by the way. It doesn't matter which group we're talking about. These teams are very selective at Division One, two, the Dub, Junior A teams. They just don't want people that are going to be a problem. So please, kids out there, do the right thing, and be good people, and that gives you a chance to get a start at one of these elite hockey teams.
Yeah. Be a good person is exactly right. I mean, you could be talented, but you could be just not a very good human being. And that's a problem that ain't gonna fly. And academics obviously important as well to keep those up. All those combining together to, go into something that not many people can do, but the select few get that chance to thrive in the spotlight. But Gordy, for this U18 female prep team, this is a team that isn't quite last place in the U18 prep female division. They don't have the least amount of goals. They're almost near the bottom of the league in that. The most goals against allowed, though. We know the goaltending's good on this team. Have the problems been for this team? I mean, many of them for it to be a struggle. I mean, new girls coming on the team this season. Maybe the bonding is maybe a bit off from time to time. I'm not quite sure, but is it defensive zone play that's been an issue? What's been the big issue with this U18 female team so far this season?
There's a little bit of bad luck, besides not necessarily being the best players in the world. We haven't had great luck. I watch every game that Pilot Mountain plays, both boys and girls. So I'm watching around 10 games on a weekend, and I watch all the girls' games, and they're close. They battle away. And for some strange reason, because they're not a great team, the breaks seem to go against them, and that happens. And if you put any lesser team record out there and you watch the games, they get the bad breaks, and maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. I don't know, but they get a bad break here and there, and that causes a defeat, or an overtime, and they lose in overtime. So, and then again, they're not the best players in the world. They're trying really hard. They're all getting better, and that's really important here. We start the season off. The kids don't know each other. Some of them are double A players when they get to us, because we haven't been able to draw all triple A kids. And so now we got kids coming from all over North America, and it's not an excuse. It's just the truth. Getting them together. They're people. They got to fit in. They got a new school. They got a whole whack of other things, and they're living in a little wee town that most of them, they're usually coming from big cities. So there's a lot of change, and then they got to figure the hockey out. And of course, if they're not the most talented players, that's hard work. It's hard work every day. Their fitness level might not be as good as it should be. We get into the gym more often. So there's lots going on, but I can say, and I'll say this every year, they get better individually and as a team. So that's our purpose, is to make our players better. Winning championships, being great as a team is a bonus. It's not the end all. It is a bonus. And that's what we work for individual players to get better. If they get better, the team will get better, so on and so forth.
No, yeah, for sure. And I mean, they got better bouncing back after losing 16-0, only losing 3-2. And for this team, I mean, like you said, a lot of close losses so far this season. a bit more offense could go a long way, especially with this goaltending for this team this season. We'll have to wait and see to find out as they don't play again until the 24th, Gordy, as of right now on the schedule on Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy's website. So how huge is this long break going to be for this U18 prep female team?
I think they've got some games to fit in there, so they've got them on a different calendar. That's the CSSHL calendar you're looking at, and but anyway, they'll have a couple more games. But at the end of the day, yeah, practice is important. I mean, playing games is great, and everybody likes to play games. But practice is where you learn to play the game, and of course, if we've got a team of people that are underdeveloped, and we're trying to move them forward to be more developed, well, practice is the place to be. So guess what? They're getting the ice time in practice. Their passing's improved, their energy's improved, their fitness is improved. So we'll get through to Christmas, have a nice break, and come back and see where we're at about the middle of January when we get our legs back. I look forward to the middle of January because of what's gone on the first couple of months for all of our teams, and when we get back, we'll see how the kids have soaked up the information they've got. They've had a break. They can mentally, they can relax a little bit. They're not being pushed by a coach or other people all the way through. So it'll be better come later before Christmas, and then of course into the new year.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of games still left on the schedule. Lots of time to get better, which is the most important thing. Like Gordy said in the message from the Academy, really this season is get 1% better each day or each game. One of those two works, I'd say. Gordy Tomlinson, goaltending coach, marketing director, and man of
recruitment guy.
Academy recruitment guy as well, joining this edition of the Buffaloes podcast. Gordon, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, Graham. Great stuff. Appreciate it.
Great catching up with Gordy Tomlinson on this edition of the Buffaloes podcast, brought to you by Mid-Canton Fasteners and Tools, Terrico, and of course, as you just saw, and we'll keep it rolling here until we bring on the next guest, Goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review service. Check out the guy you just saw, his video review service at GordyTomlinsonGoalies.ca for more information. But yeah, it was great getting to talk to Gordy Tomlinson about the past games for the teams in the Academy as well as what's to come. And we'll take a look at the standings once again for all of the divisions throughout the CSSHL. As we see there, 15th place is the U15 Prep Buffaloes at 3-8, but coming off of a win, so a bright sign there for them. The U17s doing the best out of any team in the Academy so far, 7-1-1-0-0-1. They're 1 point off or 2 points off from jumping into that fourth place spot and overtaking teams like the Northern Alberta Extreme, the Rink Hockey Academy, Kelowna Red Team, and the Okanagan Hockey Academy. Some big games coming up this weekend for the U17s, as me and Gordy Tomlinson talked about, but taking a look at the rest of the results here from the two other divisions we got to talk about. The U18 Buffaloes, they haven't played that many games, but they're 1-6 in CSSHL play, 10 goals for, 56 against, and then we get to the U18 or the female U18 prep division, and Pilot Mountain near the bottom of the standings, but as head coach or co-coach Kurt Fortney told me, he says that he's seen a lot of improvement so far with this female prep U18 Buffalo squad, and he's the next and final guest joining this edition of the show. He's going to come on to talk about just a bit about his history about coaching, what it's been like coaching this team so far, and being a part of the Academy lifestyle. You won't want to miss it. Coming up here on episode 7 of the Buffaloes podcast, the official Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy podcast here on G-Show Productions, brought to you by Goaltenders as well as Terrico and Mid-Canton Fasteners and Tools. Enjoy, everybody. Kurt Fortney coming up next here on the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy podcast. Joining me now on this edition of the Buffaloes podcast is Kurt Fortney, female U18 prep co-coach, as well as the skill development program coordinator, also dorm parent at Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy this season. Kurt, thanks for coming on the show. Nice to meet you. How are you doing on this Thursday night?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing pretty well. It's been a pretty busy day. Just finished a video session with the girls team there, and yeah, nice day today.
What have those video sessions been like this season? Obviously, having a bunch of them so far.
They've been pretty good. We've just been kind of starting to do a couple more uh, this past couple month, a couple weeks here, and the girls really like them. They're always sitting through them asking questions. They lots of funny times and laughs. They show them stuff and they immediately like, oh, don't show me this. I remember what I did, mistakes, or oh, can we do that in slow mo? I want to see them. They get tripped over something and just kind of stuff like that. But they're all really attentive to it and really enjoy the sessions and kind of get a lot out of it. And they're seeing areas of growth and improvements and where they've come from. So it's nice to see.
Yeah, it's great that there's been about a bit of everything, some teachable moments, some serious moments, some laughable moments too, some funny ones. Can you point out to us one of the most significant funny moments this year that got the biggest laugh?
Uh that's a tough one. I think the biggest ones are usually when someone's like on a break or something, and then just they kind of lose their balance or lose an edge and kind of fall down and get tripped, and then we have another teammate come in and try to get the puck, and they just kind of hit the same rut and they both fall, and then those are the good ones. They're just like, oh, what was I doing there, kind of thing. And it's fun to see, keep it light for them, and it's nice.
It's great to hear. Hopefully, maybe the team's keeping a yearly blooper reel that will show at the end of the year.
Yeah, well, definitely have a blooper reel and a highlight reel for sure. So there's been
Right
a
on.
bit of both, so that's nice, good.
For sure, for sure. And close loss to start off the weekend or the week that is on the 28th, losing 2-3. I guess before that losing 5-2, but ending off with a 2-3 loss. Talk about, the things you guys went over specifically in film, the things that you liked and obviously disliked from some of the play this weekend from the team.
Yeah, I thought they had a pretty successful weekend for didn't quite get the results that we wanted. But yeah, we lost. I think the first game of the weekend we lost 3-2. We gave up the third goal with about a minute and a half left. The next game we lost 5-2, but we're right in it. Gave up 3 power play goals, and then the third game of that weekend lost 3-2 again. This time heartbreaker and loss in overtime. Then we had a tough game against Delta there, and then finished the week off on Wednesday back home or back in Winnipeg with another 3-2 loss that the girls battled back from. They were down 3-0 in that game, and I think overall they're really in the games. They've improved significantly since the start of the year, which is all we're asking for. And we're making little adjustments in the game, and the girls are listening, and they're going out there, and we're seeing them try the things that we're talking about, and then we just going over the video. It's just kind of showing them, hey, that was a really good game. Just the goals that they're getting or the chances are just kind of small little breakdowns now, where they're just a little tired or whatever it is that they're getting their opportunities, where before it was just we didn't really know what was going on. So now it's just little fine details, and then getting more opportunities, finding different ways to produce off some more offense so that we can come out on the winning side of these closer games.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, looking at near the start of the season, some big losses in there. But as the season's gone along, there's been some blowout losses still, but a lot more closer games. This team hasn't fared the best, obviously, in the prep female division in the CSSHL, near the bottom in every category. But like you said, team getting better as the season goes along. Like you said, a lot of little things are there in terms of what this team needs to correct. But if you'd have to look at one thing in particular, what would you say is probably the biggest thing that's improved for this team to be in closer games as the year's gone along?
The biggest improvement so far has probably been just our skating. Like we've gotten a lot faster, which has allowed us to stay in games, be that condition, so we're not getting as tired. We're getting the pucks quicker, so we're not losing all the puck battles, and we actually have the puck on our stick for more time of the game than the other team, which is I think beginning of the year, like we were always chasing. The other team always had the puck, and it's hard to score goals if you don't have the puck. And it also gets pretty tiring having to defend the whole time. So now that our skating's got a lot better and our positioning's got a lot better, that we're now winning those puck battles, we're getting to a little bit more, we're creating more battles, and we're not just giving the other team easy opportunities just to score. We're making them work for it and stuff like that. So I think that's been really nice to see. Probably the biggest improvement so far.
Yeah, and the team's gotten some good goaltending as well
Mhm.
from players like Brooklyn Adams. Obviously, and I was talking to Gordy Tummelson about this earlier in the podcast. A lot of teams out there have a lot of talent. The team being in small town Pilot Mound can't quite recruit the same. They're working towards that level where they can be, but being a small town, it's always going to come with the advantages and disadvantages. Working with this type of group to find more offense, is there anything the coaching staff is looking at to maybe get some more out of this group in terms of more pucks in net?
Yeah. So yeah, it starts back in like we had really good goaltending. Both of them are amazing, and then going out from there to produce kind of more offense for them, so they're not to give them a little more chances. But biggest thing offense is just adding a little bit more kind of like deception, a little more fakes, and kind of holding the puck on our stick a little longer. I think earlier on we were kind of just get the puck and we just skate straight line down the ice and then make a pass and shoot it on net. So I think just kind of working on getting passes, catching those passes, and then kind of skating down the ice, doing some going in and out, cutting to the middle, faking the shot, holding on to it, get a little more patience. If we don't really have the best shot, continue to hold it, cut back, kind of find where that soft ice is, where the open ice is, and kind of get more opportunities that way. We're starting to see a lot more success that way. We've scored, I think, two goals in almost the last few games, which is nice to see. The beginning of the year we were scoring one or zero, so now we're getting 2 goals a game pretty consistently, and now we got to just keep working on that and putting a little more pucks on net, get a little more shots, and we're gonna eventually get 3, 4, or 5 goals a game.
Yeah, and it's all about those building blocks, right? There's a long season ahead still, and plenty of time for this hardworking group of girls to get better and hopefully find some more offense for their sakes this year. But talking about yourself, I mean, outside of being a co-coach this year, you're a skill development program coordinator, you're a dorm parent. So what's that been like juggling that along with coaching, being a part of the day-to-day academy things?
Yeah, it's been pretty busy, but it's nothing better than hanging out with kids and trying to and being around the game of hockey and just kind of getting them to where they kind of want to be and just helping skill development from the dorm parent side, helping them out either like tutoring or at study hall or whatever it is, or just kind of getting to know them and getting to meet all these new kids and new personalities and get to understand what their kind of goals are and trying to help them achieve that. It's been a lot of fun. And then the skill development program, just something that we kind of started this year and been able to be a part of that and really emphasize that development part, and especially being in a small community and all the small areas around here that we can have these kind of skill development camps and go out to the minor hockey associations around here and hold sessions that we can have, like myself and the other coaches go and run, and these kids, the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like all ages kids, getting them that development, that coaching of a little higher from us, that opposed to having a parent or a volunteer that maybe hasn't played as much hockey and hasn't had as much training as like we have, that we can kind of get a little more development for these kids and to kind of see what they're growing for and what they can accomplish. And it's been a lot of fun working with that as well.
Before your time in Pilot Mound, I read up on it on the Pilot Mound Hockey Academy website. You coached in Namask, Quebec, coached U15 level all the way up to U18s. Not sure if you were coaching male or female, but take me back to what that experience was like, as well as what you've taken from those experiences into now being a co-coach in a smaller town.
Yeah, so that was a great experience being in Quebec. Yeah, I was coaching, yeah, all the ages, boys and girls, just kind of running through kind of similar to the skill development program here, like teaching them the basic skills, advancements, and getting into more fundamentals of hockey where they haven't quite had that training before. So just kind of taking that and being kind of, because they're all different skill levels, so kind of similar to every team, right? We want to challenge the ones that maybe are a little more skilled to start, and we want to get the ones that are at the bottom to up to where everyone's this kind of similar skill level. So it's kind of working together that way and learning that what different kind of progressions like we can do and stuff like that, and how different kids take the different motivation, different advice, and just different ways that we can work together and kind of get the kids excited about the game and motivate and wanting to improve, and just different areas of that has been probably one of the good things about that.
Yeah, and developing kids as well as making it fun for them, it makes it that much easier to get the most out of them, out of their potential for sure. But for yourself, I mean, your path to playing hockey outside of the minor league level into playing junior, you didn't play like the highest level of AAA or anything, but you were a AA player, had a big moment scoring an OT winner in fifth OT of your last playoff game. You moved on to play 3 years of junior hockey. So, just going back into your path, talk about the things that you've learned that you feel have been beneficial for you as a coach to tell to players that want to make it to that next level. That hey, you don't have to play at the highest level of minor hockey to be able to play junior and play 3 years of it at that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things. Like for me, played mostly AA, some games at AAA and stuff like that. But there's so many teams at the junior level, college level, that if you want to put the work in and if you want to get there, that there is a spot for you, whether it's you're right, like junior A, major junior, or if it's junior B. Like there's places for you to play if you want to continue to play, and then going on to college, there's all the way like NCAA Division I teams to Division III to in the ACHA as well in the States, 3 different divisions there. There's over like hundreds of schools in the States, and same as in Canada, that if they want to play, that there's opportunities for them. So they just gotta, biggest thing is to continue to work, continue to put the work, have effort, give your best effort every day, come ready to learn, try new things, right? We're on the ice for practice pretty much every day of the week. So this is the time where really push yourself. If you make mistakes, that's okay, right? We want them out of their comfort zones, that in the games that they'll be more comfortable, but in practices, we're pushing ourselves to be the best that we can. And it's a safe spot that we can make mistakes and we can grow from that. And just kind of having gone through that, I can kind of share that with the kids, saying, hey, you guys are at this level, right? We want to get you to the next level, wherever that is. Maybe it's for some, it might not be hockey, but just kind of getting that building block of what hockey kind of brings all together. And just kind of sharing kind of my story with them is, I think, the best way I can help like relate to the kids and kind of do that with coaching. Is I've been through that, so hopefully they can kind of relate a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, you get to see them on a daily basis on more of the school side, and when they're doing stuff in the dorms, being a dorm parent. But going into the decision first for you to come to Pilot Mountain, could you tell me and the viewers how that came to be for you to accept a spot on this year's coaching staff?
Yeah, so after like graduating school, I wasn't really sure kind of what I wanted to do. I know I wanted to stay kind of involved in hockey. I saw that the Pilot Mound had a position here, and thought that'd be kind of what I would like to do is give back, help the kids grow. I had family in Winnipeg and like in Manitoba before, so kind of know the area. It's kind of because I'm from Alberta, so moving away from home, but I've been living away from home for a few years now already, so still close enough that kind of can go back and see them, or when we go to Alberta, that I get to see my family still there and see family that I haven't seen in a while in Winnipeg, and thought it'd be a good spot. Thought it was a good kind of align with what the Pilot Mountain, what they're trying to do here as an academy is just how they're trying to grow people as players on and off the ice and kind of get that healthy split and balance and getting that volunteer hours in and everything like that. And I just thought that's basically what I kind of was looking for, where I can get that give back, stay involved in the game, help develop kids, and get them to a better place off the ice and get them set them up for success later on in life when they're for their hockey seasons, future careers, and off the ice as well, in whatever they choose to do.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of key messages there that you and the rest of the staff and a lot of the players, most of the players, almost all of them agree with at Pilot Mound, and big reasons why they end up coming are because of those values. For you, obviously you haven't been the main guy as head coach. You become a co-coach on this year's Pilot Mound team. How different has that experience been? Is there any difference at all in terms of what you've experienced in the past from being maybe a head coach to being a co-coach?
I think for me, like the biggest thing, just kind of staying true to like myself, how I want to be as a coach. It doesn't really change too much how I'm with the kids and how I want to interact with them. There's a little bit difference between like head coach and like assistant coach, and like head coach maybe has to be a little more stern and strict with the rules as opposed to like an assistant coach where they can, you know, have a little more fun with the kids and kind of be that intermediary where if there's a problem that the kids feel comfortable coming to the assistant coach or co-coach, and we can pass that message along to the head coach, and just kind of being in between that way. That's probably, other than that, it's been, kind of this pretty similar.
Yeah, what's that been like getting to know and coach with Jared Petito so far, the other uh co-coach on this team, as well as a skill coach and a dorm parent?
Yeah, so Jared Z, he's coming here in a few days, so I haven't really worked with him yet in person, but we've had good conversations about the team and kind of what our kind of visions and kind of we're expecting to see out of the girls, and it's going to be a fun experience. Just getting to learn from another person who's had different experiences growing up. Like every coach is kind of different, which is kind of neat here. Like we got so many different coaches that you can just bounce ideas off. Like what has worked for you in the past, or what are you seeing? Maybe they're seeing something different, and just kind of learning from them that way. And that's been another thing that's been awesome here. I've been, going on the ice with kind of all the teams, learning from all the coaches, had different coaches come on with the girls as well. And it's been a pretty good experience that way.
Yeah, and gonna be interesting to see what you and Jared can do together as co-coaches on this year's team moving forward. But it's been a lot of I mean, like, there's been a lot of games so far that have been played in a short amount of time. Really, that's really how the academy lifestyle seems to go. There's been some behind the scene changes with this female team. Obviously, you know about them. We won't get into the specifics exactly here, of course. But could you talk about how the season has been in terms of the experience of going through the ups and downs and fighting through adversity early on?
Yeah, it's been a bit of an up and down roller coaster, kind of challenging years so far for the girls. Have been through a lot, but really proud of how they've handled it, really together as a group, as a team, leaning on each other, getting help, support from whatever they needed on and off the ice. They've been really good, really close together. It's brought them closer together. It's really made a good team, which I think is going to help them in the long run here. They've already faced so much adversity that when they get to the end of the year, we've made the strides that we're expecting to make, that we're going to be in those tighter games and that we've already been in, and be on those long road trips and be ready for playoffs and stuff like that, that they're going to have that experience of that adversity, of being down, but still having fun, still having that hope, still having that belief that we can we can come back and we can win those games, or we can, if we're up in those games, that we have that belief that we don't want to get down, that we've been through this, we've come so far this year as a group, as a team, that we're gonna keep fighting to the end. And I think that's going to be really what we're excited to see this group take, and where they're going to end up. Like, we have pretty high expectations for them, and now that we're kind of getting more settled here, we're getting a little more, had a couple of weeks off, kind of getting some more practice time, which they've needed, and some rest as well, which is almost equally as important.
Yeah, and this team not playing until, well, the 24th, so some more time off until then. I heard there might be some games filled within
Mhm.
this time, but nonetheless, a nice break for the squad. Gotta get to you being a dorm parent. I mean, obviously, I feel like it's an experience you haven't had before, especially with being a coach and bonding with players the way you might have in the past. How different has that been this season in terms of, has it broaden you even closer to knowing these players, even more so than you could have imagined being a dorm parent?
Yeah, definitely. I've never lived in a dorm before, so it's a brand new experience for me as well. So, it's just living with the kids, like, hey, I'm doing this the first time with you guys, so we're all getting through this together, and there's going to be ups and downs, kind of things like that. And we're not gonna, you guys are gonna get on each other's nerves as well. Like, we're all in kind of tight spaces, and we're around each other a lot, right? So just making sure that they all understand that, right? We don't have to be buddies with everyone all the time, but we have to, like, respect each other's space, respect each other's time, and just kind of respectful of everyone around here. And it's okay to, you don't have to hang out with everyone all the time. You can, get your own space, get your own time, and just kind of going through them that way. And I didn't really wasn't really sure what to expect. Just kind of came in with an open mind. I think that's just the best way that you can kind of approach it. Just be ready for anything. All the kids have been really great here. It's an awesome group of kids. Definitely got to know them quite a bit better than I probably thought I would have, which is always nice to see. Get to learn about them, learn about their families, what they kind of like, what are their interests outside of hockey. That's always interesting to find out what they, because you got guys from all over the Canada to the Americans as well, and kind of what's new from them, the kids from Florida, and getting to know them, and having to take them shopping, get winter coats for the big snowstorms, and it's already cold outside, and it's like, oh, just wait a couple months and stuff like that. So it's always fun to kind of see that kind of side, away from hockey, which either watching on TV or stuff like, and looking at NHL players that they don't really share too much. So it's always nice to see this side of the kids as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. And yeah, for those Florida kids, or someone that's not used to the Manitoba cold, it's quite a change. And I was gonna say, for yourself, I mean, you're from Edmonton and then you went to Quebec, so you're plenty experienced with the cold. And now you're here in frozen Manitoba when it comes to the winters. So
Yeah.
thanks for coming on, Kurt, and doing this. I wish the team the best of luck, the best in health as well in terms of the preparation rest heading into this next game or whenever those games come. You enjoy the great time you've been having down in Pilot Mountain some more this season, and can't wait to talk to you in the future. Thanks for doing this.
Perfect. Thanks for having me, Graham.
Yeah, of course, Kurt Fortney, head coach of the U18 female prep Buffaloes team, joining me on this edition of the Buffaloes podcast. As I sort things out here, there we go. Kurt Fortney joining this edition of the Buffaloes podcast. Was about to introduce his next, not his next head coach, but his co-coach now in Jared Petito. And yeah, I mean, just taking a look. Where he added? There we go. Jared Petito, new co-coach of Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy's female U18 prep team. Also their skills coach and program coordinator now, of the skills program, program coordinator, along with Kurt. Jared joining Pilot Mountain with experience in coaching from Virginia, Maine, Massachusetts, and Utah. So quite a bit of experience. He's competed in minor hockey. He played in Woodbridge, Virginia. Also had a chance to attend Slippery Rock University, an ACHA D1 school, and obtained a bachelor in degree sports marketing as well as minor business marketing. So he also began his master's degree in sports management while playing at Cleveland State University in ACHA D2 team. So all his information can be found on his write-up or on this announcement of Pilot Mountain announcing a new head coach for their female U18 prep program on pilotmountainhockeyacademy.com. But it was great to have a chance to talk to Kurt Fortney, one of the new head coaches, or one of the new coaches at Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy, as he's only a co-coach, and great to know that he's been enjoying the experience until this point. And speaking of experiences, Gordy Tummelson had mentioned this earlier on in this episode, but the U18 female team had a chance to go out to Bemidji State University to check out the Beavers hockey program, their campus where they play some cool stuff. Hear from the Buffaloes U18 female prep team, and Pilot Mountain also has a video too for this moment, this experience, as they had a chance to go to Bemidji over the weekend when they had no games to play.
These are the days I will remember. These are the faces I need most. Everything changes, but I'll keep forever. These days I will remember. These days I will remember. Still got that blanket from when you were born. That night love hit me like a heavy storm. And I know it's been too long to recall it right, but you don't forget the goodbyes, and you don't forget the good times. No, you don't forget the goodbyes, and you don't forget the good times. These are the days I will remember. These are the faces I need most. Everything changes, but I'll keep forever. These days I will remember. These days I will remember. These are the days I will remember. These are the faces I want close.
And awesome experience for this U18 prep female squad, and cool story as well. Amy Ramage and Brooke Jello, not quite sure how you pronounce that name. Female U18 prep coach advisors are alumni of the Beavers program, so you may have seen their name during that video on that wall as they were showing that. Pretty cool stuff and an experience of bonding once again for this U18 prep female team as they got a bit of time until their next few games. In terms of the schedule for this upcoming weekend in Pilot Mound Hockey Academy, there's only two teams that are going to be in action, and that's the U17 male team and the male U18 prep team. The male U18 prep team, of course, will be in New Hampshire, Hookset, to take on teams that they haven't had a chance to play before, teams like Orland Park, the Seahawks Hockey Club, New Jersey Junior Titans, and the Tahoe Prep Academy. So a big test this weekend, not big test, but another test coming up this weekend for Pilot Mound Hockey Academy's U18 male prep program. And of course for the U17s, they'll be in Winnipeg tomorrow to take on the Rink Hockey Academy, Winnipeg, at 5:30 p.m. Then they'll be at Blackjack Stewart Arena on Remembrance Day at 1:30 p.m. Puck drop for the Winnipeg High School Elite matchup. That game, of course, 1:30 p.m. All games there can be seen on Flow Sports, as well as the U18s weekend of action. One more little bit of stuff to report for you guys here in terms of what's going on throughout the academy. But right now, it's program 8 of their skills series, their development series, as it's PMHA's Silky Mitt Skill Development Camp. It's just around the corner. Join the folks over at Pilot Mound this weekend. It's $100 per player. This skill camp running from tomorrow until Sunday. It's 1 hour of ice, 1 hour of dry land per day, all at the Pilot Mound Millennium Recreation Complex, or better known as the Blackjack Stewart Arena. For more information and to register for not only this camp coming up, but for the upcoming skill development camps, be sure to visit pilotmoundhockeyacademy.com for more information. A great opportunity to get your kid who's serious about hockey, who wants to get to that next level when he's older, or for she when she's older, to get a chance to suit up and practice some essential skills, some fundamentals with the Pilot Mound Hockey Academy. So yeah, that's just gonna about do it for this edition of the Buffaloes podcast. I'll be back with some final words on this edition of the show, what's to come next week, and some more stuff of what's to come this week still on G-Show Productions here on our YouTube channel for episode 7 of the Buffaloes podcast. Stick around, folks. Well, you made it to the end of this edition of the Buffaloes podcast. I've been your host, Graham, the G-Show Forsyth. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday night, or whenever you tuned into this edition of the Buffaloes podcast. If you are new here to our YouTube channel, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this edition of the Buffaloes podcast, and also be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future episodes like this coming out. The next Buffaloes podcast will be out next Thursday for episode 8 at 9 p.m. Central Time here on our YouTube channel, as well as on our website at gshow.ca. You'll be able to click a link there that will take you directly to our YouTube channel. So that'll be great. We'll also have an upcoming announcement of what's to come for that episode on our social media outlets, as well as on our website closer to Thursday next week. So stay tuned for that. I want to thank Kurt Fortney, as well as Maddox Ramage, Cole Landerville, and Gordy Tummelson for being the guests in tonight's episode. Special thanks to you, the viewer, for tuning in to tonight's episode, and a special thanks to Mid-Canton Fasteners and Tools Terrico, and to Goaltenders for sponsoring another edition of the Buffaloes podcast. For you Winnipeg sports fans out there, it's like a Winnipeg Sports Super Day on Saturday, right? You start off with what's going to be a great Remembrance Day service, probably on CBC is the one I'll tune into, and then you got the Winnipeg Jets playing in the afternoon. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers playing for a spot in the Grey Cup later on, closer to the evening against the BC Lions. So it's going to be a fantastic day, and it will be here on G Show Productions too, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be dropping our next edition of our Jet Fuel podcast at 12, so at noon on Saturday, and then following that at 1:30 p.m. is going to be our Blue Bombers podcast, the True Blue podcast. It's probably going to be me riding solo for both. I don't really care though. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope for you sports fans out there, specifically Winnipeg Jets and Winnipeg Blue Bombers, be sure to tune in, because it is going to be a fantastic day. No matter what happens, the hype will be electric. So yeah, that's going to do it for me, Graham the G Show Forsyth. I also want to point out that we will have a blog for Pilot Mound Hockey Academy coming out on Monday on our website, on our blog section, so stay tuned for that too. Yeah, until next week, folks, go Buffaloes. Good luck to the U17s and the U18 male programs this weekend coming up. Have a wonderful start to your weekend tomorrow, folks. It is Friday. Enjoy it. Stay safe out there. And until next Thursday, I've been your host, Graham the G Show Forsyth of the Buffaloes podcast, giving you the salute, peacing out, and waving so long on this Thursday night. Tyson Unruh, March of the Buffaloes. Take us away. Peace, everybody.